Alright, hello everybody. Today I'm playing this Things Are Grim visual novel from the Queer Games bundle, and well, it is supposed to be a romantic comedy, so I don't think it's actually that grim, but like there were some content warnings like, well, stalking, manipulation, death and that kind of things, but hopefully like nothing too serious because it is a romantic comedy. And it is like Yuri, so well, if that is your cup of tea, then the teapot is right here. Yeah, I guess romance can be grim, but let's hope it's not so grim that I can't handle it. And well, I don't think it is, so it should be fine. So let me see. So let's get started, I guess. Not so like what the layout is, but I'll figure it out. Alright, let's see. As the sun fell and the moon rose, strange shapely shadows could be seen throughout the quiet streets of the suburbs. Oh yeah, and like, well, the game is supernatural, so we're not sure like what the world, like the lore is exactly, like Grim Reapers and stuff like that, like usual stuff or not. We'll see. Though it was not quite night, most of the city's inhabitants had found their way back to their homes, and yet a lingering businessman felt a chill crawl down his spine. He turned his head to find the source of this unease and discovered a woman instead. Dressed darkly and with a serious look, the man felt his face twist in amusement. Huh, did they reschedule Halloween this year, or? Of course, there was no possible way this man could have known who he was speaking to. Lady Luna, a name she often futilely shouted into the world, was not a woman to be trifled with. She held darkness in her heart that paltry insults could not touch. It's like this, the Grim Reaper then. This darkness was really properly regarded, however. Humans have a tendency towards small-mindedness. Well, well, people can react to darkness that way, like it is a way to cope, and worse for people who just wear dark outfits and look creepy. Well, oh, I guess I can't really move because the game is picking up the controller, so let's not do it then. She often found her presence marked by the laughter of those who did not take her with the seriousness that she deserved. Thankfully, she did not need their belief. The banal, nonsensical drivel of a mortal means little to me. You would be wise to consider your next words carefully. Despite the challenge, the man seemed to find himself simply ignoring her remark. Taking this as a victory, Luna moved along. Or maybe I need to reduce the volume too. I guess it's more loud than the title screen. hard to say. Well, let me know if this works. Or maybe like the whole soundtrack isn't like funeral music, so it will be different. It was late after all, and if she was to claim her prize, she would have to stay on track. With a confidence in her step, Lady Luna finally found herself in front of her destination. The goal, strangely enough, was a local coffee shop. Perhaps even immortals do their best to support small businesses, it would seem. Upon entering, she allowed herself a moment to analyze the space. There weren't many customers presently, a desire to trade. Better yet, there was not a single person standing in front of the counter to order. With her secret weapon in hand, she stepped towards the counter, the register I guess. Oh, well, I hope this isn't like a GTA moment. Caffeine, wench. I require your wares. Well, like, I guess this is kind of like an RPG, like, kind of greeting apart from this part. The server seemed to not hear her request. All that could be seen was the back of her head bobbing up and down to the quiet cafe music. I said, I require your wares, wench. I don't think it's very polite to call someone a wench. Well, yeah, no kidding. Very well. Caffeine maiden, I require your wares. See, isn't that better? The barista turned, facing the woman with a happy smile. Now, what would you like? I will take a dark brew, shrouded in darkness and without a hint of levity. A payment, this contract. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I don't know like these coffee things, but this probably isn't like your typical coffee. The woman set a coupon on the counter stoically. Okay, I can do that. The drink was prepared with magnificent speed, and surprisingly, perhaps, given that it was the simplest drink someone could order, but I don't know, like this darkness thing. Your coffee is ready. As the barista sat the drink down, she looked the woman carefully in the face for the first time. Oh, you're a moon. The decorated woman instantly recoiled at this, a scowl coming to her face. Consider your next words carefully, peasant. Do you dare? I have one too. Oh, you do? The two statements almost overlapped. Before either of them could fully process this, the server lifted her bangs. Underneath, one could make out a clear moon-shaped scar on her forehead. The tips faced downwards and were perfectly symmetrical. Lady Luna's eyes went wide, frozen in shock. Could it be the prophecy? What prophecy though? Prophecy. It is with a grave urgency that I must request conference with you. At your earliest convenience, we must speak. Yeah, I'm not sure where this is going. More like the moon. Well, the moon's like the same way or the different way. Well, I don't know, like if it makes difference either way, but we'll see. You may even say that it is a matter of life and death. Well, maybe then like she is like the balance, like she is the death and she is the life or something. Goodness, life and death. I'm supposed to be working, but it sounds like it's important. I'll get someone to cover for me. The barista quickly ducked her head into a nearby closet, alerting a coworker of her imminent absence. Well, like, yeah, I don't know, like, leaving so quickly, yeah, maybe if you have like some kind of emergency, but I don't know if this is one of those. Without hesitation, Lady Luna took over the table in the darkest corner of the cafe. The barista, also without hesitation, plodded over to join her in a pleasant haze. A strangely quiet moment passed. Luna closed her eyes, taking a long sip of coffee in silent contemplation. Upon reflection, I realized I must apologize, referring to you as coffee bench earlier. Well, like the moon or not, like that is a good idea, I guess. Such a fateful encounter, and I allowed it to be tainted by careless language. It was pretty rude, I guess. Just this time I'll forgive you, but be nicer next time, okay? Oh yeah, Mom. Very well. I will bear that in mind. She took another drink, then set the cup down. With a deadly serious expression, she looked Clara in the eyes. Do you have even the faintest inkling of what I am? Well, I suppose like the Grim Reaper based on the game page, but not like entirely sure. I can honestly say that I do not. Unlike this character is probably named Clara or something. Most of your kind bristle at my very presence. Your insensitivity may prove to be useful. This woman before you carries a grim moniker, Lady Luna, the death-rejected hand of fate. In other words, the barista seemed to deem that this title was quite impressive. Wow! The consequences of my existence have seen me employed as the instrument of a cruel cosmic force. Though it is a fitting fate, I sometimes yearn for release. And you, Lady Luna paused, gesturing vaguely in the barista's direction. I'm Clara. You, Clara, could be the key that frees me of my cursed destiny. So he is like the Grim Reaper or something, but doesn't want to be it, I guess. Probably. With this one sentence, Clara found herself dazed, as though the lights had faded on everything except for her and Lady Luna. Oh, don't get excited too fast. Me. But that tale must be for another day. For now, tell me of the origins of your moon. Clara blinked, then snapped her fingers. Oh, this? She again pulled her bangs back. The mark was as clear as day, a crescent moon with its tips facing downwards, so it is the opposite, I guess. I got it when I was pretty young, so I'm not sure I can tell a good story about it, to be honest. I think I had too much sugar and fell on my face though. Okay, oh. So it is a scar of the flesh, how marvelous. Not like it is a scar resulting from a sugar high or something. Mind you, that doesn't like sugar high doesn't exist in reality, but let's not mind that. Many eons ago, I first made brief contact with the benevolent higher power, an ethereal entity, one who speaks only in riddles and vague implications. But there is one thing it has always made clear. Seek the woman with the crescent moon scar. Truly, I did not think this day would ever come. I never even allowed myself to think of what I would say to her, to you. It's okay if you need time to think. I have been told I'm patient. Luna bowed her head in appreciation, taking a moment to do just that. Have you ever found yourself prepared to take a leap of faith? I guess you could say it's a bit of a hobby of mine. How exactly? Like, are you doing like bungee jumping or something? There's a danger that comes from jumping without knowing the destination, but is there not a thrill as well? Clara's heart felt as though it was going to leap right out of her chest. I agree. What is life without a little thrill after all? And it's so boring to always know what tomorrow brings. Emboldened by Clara's enthusiasm, Luna proceeded. But in knowing there can be certainty. If you walk away now, know that you can still return to your ordinary life. Any further than this and you will have passed a threshold beyond which there is no return. Clara did her best to really try to hear what she was being told, though it was difficult. It was her instinct to disregard this threat. Well, there are things that humans such as you are not meant to know, and to tell them to you brings danger. In other words, the path that I follow through this life is dark, and it has been solitary for good reason. My kind is not meant to cavort with mortals. I will caution you of this now. Fate may see it fit to punish you for your dalliance if you find yourself cavorting with me. Yeah, never heard this word before, but I kind of guess from context, so it's fine. Despite knowing all of this, I demand to know. Clara the human, will you embrace your fate and help free me of my cursed destiny? Well, like the details are kind of like not there, but Clara felt as though time had frozen around her. The beating in her chest that had always guided her previously continued to do so as she spoke. Of course, all you had to do was ask. Lady Luna seemed stunned at this proclamation, but only for a moment. Well, like she has absolutely no idea what is going on. I'm afraid I have little to offer you in exchange, barring my eternal devotion. I will do my best to shield you from the things which I am able. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm a full-grown woman, you know, I can fight my own battles. I am sure, however, have you ever wrestled a demon with no weapon in hand? Have you ever plucked the eyes out of a raging devil? Well, no, but have you had to do those things? One must always remain ready to do so in my trade. Speaking of which, I believe it may be time to reveal to you the very nature of my being. As mentioned, there are many dangers inherent in simply having such knowledge. Too much arcane wisdom, and I could easily overload your tender brain, so you must take care and move slowly. So it is kind of like the Elder Scroll thingy then, I guess. Not to polish your language too much, but I'm not sure I love being told I have tender brain. It is not an insult, simply a statement of truth. And that can also be insult, like depending on situations. Like sometimes there are things you're not meant to say, even if they are true. We all begin with a tender brain, unprepared for the horrors of life. Or should I say, the horrors? Lady Luna paused, leaving a long space for dramatic emphasis. The horrors of death. The ominous woman stood, pacing to a nearby window, staring out at the setting sun. The sun of life sets on us all. That is what they say. Clara craned her neck, trying to make out the words the woman was muttering to herself ominously. Should I follow you? Or are you building tension? Or tell me, fair Clara, what do you believe happens after death? Or you're just gone? Well, I guess I try not to think about it. I'd like to believe in something romantic, I suppose, like the moment a mortal dies, the tie between their soul and body is severed. The body becomes compost, food for the earth. Without assistance, the soul lingers. They stack up and they grow restless. This is not where they should be, and they will make that known to any who are around to lay witness. But there is a service that is provided. I will not presently go into detail about how or the why. about the how or the why. I will tell you that service, and its name to the mortals that fear it. Well, like, if you're already dead at that point, like, do you need to fear it? Or, like, does it have somehow, like, start earlier than that? I am a farrier of souls, one who sees the lost lambs that humanity has left in its wake. I am what you would call a Grim Reaper in frightened tones. Well, like, I'm not sure how like this work in the mythology, but I thought like the fairy rider was a different person than the Grim Reaper. Like, I thought like Grim Reaper would be some invisible entity that was like, wow, sends people to the fairy, I guess. Something like that. But I'm not sure how these things work exactly. Do you understand now, Clara, that you have allowed yourself to ally with the demons such as I? Her voice echoed through the scantily filled coffee shop, drawing the attention of several teenagers nearby. Lady Luna simply tilted her head back and pointed at the onlookers. Look away, child of man. You need not worry your petty little minds with matters much larger than you. Clara's entrancement with Lady Luna's monologue was only slightly distracted by her concern as an employee of the cafe. However, for the moment, she would allow it. Grim Reaper. Lady Luna took a deep breath. Perhaps she was preparing herself for the inevitable letdown of yet another human mocking her station. How harrowing, a Grim Reaper! Clara looked Lady Luna over with a deeply curious eye. I had never met a Grim Reaper before, though if you had, like, that would be a surprise, I guess. Perhaps, though it is in our nature that we often go undetected. To know that someone is dead touched is both a deep honor and a deep curse. Do not carry it lightly, and do not reveal what I just told you to any living soul. Cross my heart and hope to die. She leapt up, dramatically crossing her heart as promised. I have so many questions. Were you ever a normal human? Do you have any powers? Do you have to use the bathroom? Because I do. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Remain calm. It is understandable that you would need time to acclimate yourself to this information. I require time to prepare as well. Allow us to part paths forward now. But before we do so, you must swear to me that you will return to me. Yes, I thought I already made that clear, but yes. Now the question is though, like, how do you return to her? And when we meet again, come with concentration, select 3 questions, and that will be all I answer. Otherwise, I'm sure we could go on all night. I'm sure that is kind of what she wants. Okay, got it. 3 important questions. The cheerful girl paused, hesitantly reaching into her pocket and retrieving a phone. So, set the phone on the table, glancing off into the distance. How would one get in contact with you? My summoning sigil is simple. I shall input it into your Siladex. The phone was snatched off the table. A new contract created. I'll text you so you can get my number. The phone was returned to its owner, who stared happily down at the new number. When was it that you said you could see each other again? We could see each other again. Lady Luna dramatically looked into the distance. One moon for each of our own. I shall give you 2 nights to ruminate on this. Ensure that the time is not wasted. Clara nodded excitedly. I'm ecstatic to be working with you. I hope I can be the key that you're looking for. Well, I'm kind of sure she doesn't get what she's doing. Lady Luna beamed at this warm praise. Such warmth, I have often heard sun and the warmth that it brings to the souls of man. I do not think I have truly understood this feeling until now, however. It is unfortunate that I must depart. Alas, I have business to attend to. Oh, of course. Much to reap, I'm sure. Okay, I guess she kind of gets it then, but maybe. Though she wasn't often one for humor, Lady Luna couldn't help but allow a passing chuckle at Clara's joke. Something about her was infectious. Then the moment passed. Lady Luna's hand rose for a second with some strange instinct, then fell back to her side with a sense of defeat. Yes, that is correct. I will welcome your presence when the time comes. In the meantime, I am off. And just as suddenly as he had entered, Lady Luna had left the building. Her half-drunk cup of coffee sat on the table, growing colder by the second. Nonchalantly, Clara took the cup into her hands, took a big sip, and sighed happily. That was incredible. With second-hand kiss fresh on her lips, the barista skipped back to her post. Though it would be difficult to focus on matters as mundane as coffee, when her life had suddenly become much more interesting. Well, I guess. Let me see if I can. Like if I defocus the window, I can probably just drink normally. That used to be hot chocolate, but it is not hot anymore. Let me see actually. Maybe there is a little more room so I can move like here or something. Later that night, when Clara had finished her shift, she returned to her home confidently. Today had been a good day, great even. Clara slipped through her front door past a quiet living room, then through one more door to her bedroom. The room was well kept, with plenty of cheerful decorations. It was clear that Clara had a preoccupation with nature, from the mushroom reading light to the plants embroidered on her bedsheet. Lacking any hesitation, she reached within her sweater pocket and produced a small key ring as she sat at her ornate wooden desk. With a happy sigh, she lovingly plucked the key she was looking for from the rest. Immediately, this key found its home in the lock of a drawer. When Clara pulled the drawer open, however, it became obvious that it was completely empty. Or at least that's what she would want any random onlookers to think. However, the master of this realm knew better. Clara carefully moved her fingers, lifting a fake bottom from the bottom of the drawer. Underneath was a loan book. Despite the particularly unassuming exterior, Clara Nealand has several notable traits that are not apparent at first glance. In other words, the first that I'm sure you'll come to recognize is a propensity towards privacy. Her hidden diary, clad in green leather and gold leafing, is one example of this. I'm not sure if that is too special. The second is an enduring belief in the existence of true love, of soulmates, and happily ever after, despite how impossible that feels at times. That's not a bad thing to believe in exactly. Bear this in mind moving forward and try not to hold it against her, despite the inherent messiness that often occurs when these two tendencies meet. So she doesn't want to tell a lot about herself, but then I wonder then how it is going to work when she meets the true love. This journal was Clara's prized possession. She had made it herself one spring during a particularly exhilarating bookbinding phase, and she had kept it informed ever since. Finally, she retrieved one more key, using it to open the small heart-shaped lock that prevented prying eyes from becoming spying eyes. So the book is in a locked drawer, inside below a fake bottom, and then the book is also locked. It occasionally occurred to Clara that this level of security would be considered strange by many, but where secrets were concerned, she always felt it was better to be safe than sorry. Well, I guess it doesn't really hurt. She set the book fluently on the counter, opening it. Dear diary, today something incredible happened. Her penmanship was impressive. She dotted her I's with lowercase hearts. After 3 long months of waiting, she finally came into the store. Let's take this opportunity to snoop on Clara's diary. Notable entries begin, as he just implied, 3 months prior. Not too bad, like the locks and stuff didn't help her in this case. Dear diary, today work was okay, I guess a little boring though. I tried to find something to think about while working, something to daydream about. And I know this may sound funny, but I think I almost ran out. It's like the fun thought lobe of my brain was broken. It meant I had to think about work. Yuck. I could make those drinks in my sleep. Hopefully it won't come down to that, though. If I stop having dreams, then I'll get really worried. The next entry. Oh, I guess I need to be extra careful with the voice though, because this is probably like a longer game. So let's better be safe than sorry. Dear diary, today at work, boring again, and it was really slow, so I was just sitting there, staring out the window for most of it. But I guess this is a silver lining. Just being this girl, I know it's silly, but I see her walking by most days, and I just think she's so cool. She's always dressed interestingly, as she draws on her face with makeup. It feels like looking forward to seeing her is a fun game I can occupy myself with now. It's like Osvaldo. It's just so nice to see someone so different. I'm tired of seeing the same things every day. The next entry. Dear diary, today was a special day. I got to see my good friend Miss Cool Girl twice. That's right, twice. That surprise really kept me going during the last 3 hours. The next entry, you see basically like the reason why the game has like the stalking warning. Dear diary, sometimes I feel ridiculous with how much I think about this girl. It's weird, right? I have written so much about her, but I doubt she even knows I exist. Not that I have ever given her a chance to know, I guess, but I don't want to intrude. How do you even introduce yourself to someone like that? I could never tell her I have been obsessed with her for months. Well, like you don't really need to tell that part, I guess. I guess you have to hope for them to come to you, or is that just quitters talk? Maybe I have to get her to come to me then. What tools could I possibly employ as a lowly barista who's always working when I see her? Wait a second. I think I have an idea. Something no one could possibly say no to. Maybe, just maybe, I am the smartest one after all. And so the next day, Clara went to her boss and begged to be allowed to give out samples on her shift. It was strange, and her boss was hesitant to allow it. They as an establishment had never previously offered samples or anything like that, but Clara came prepared with statistics and a lot of heart. Finally, the boss relented, if nothing else, to get Clara to calm down about it. For some reason, Clara found herself awake an hour early when the day arrived. She spent it preening, ensuring that she looked perfect. Not that she had reason to or anything, she just had the extra time. So what else was she supposed to do? She got to work, donning her apron, and for the first time stepped outside with a tray of samples. Through her nervous pacing, she totally forgot to offer the samples to any passerbys. Before long she knew what time it was and could accordingly spot the mysterious woman approaching in the distance. Though she tried to act nonchalant, it took every ounce of her restraint to contain herself. As the woman approached, everything went quiet. Clara could feel something in her chest, desperately trying to claw its way out. Just for today, she would force it back in. For now, it was vital she nail their first semi-official interaction. As the woman that she would eventually know as Lady Luna walked closer, she took a deep breath. She had thought about this moment and the exact things she was supposed to say. Frappe sample. Perfection. She delivered the line with the perfect amount of gusto. That spill of cream and sugar is pure filth. Okay. Dear diary, today I talked to her. I know it was a little short, but the way she spoke, she was so elegant. Maybe a little rude, but well, nobody's perfect, I guess, and maybe that was an appeal of its own. It merits further investigation at least. Though not sure like if elegant means that. And I did learn something important. She's more of a plain coffee kind of girl. I get it, that's respectable. That's the sort of thing major people drink, I guess. Well, I don't drink coffee at all though. I don't like it, like no matter what you put in it. On like hot chocolate. Anyways, even though my sample plan had some hitches, I think I'm prepared to do even better next time. Clara held her diary to her chest dreamily. Was all of this a little unnecessary? Perhaps, but she had to admit it was a thrill having something to look forward to again. Well, like, you could get like hobbies or something. A few days after her first attempt at the sample seam, she again made her way out to the street. Last time was a wash, but she forced herself to reframe her thoughts. Perhaps it was more useful to think of it as an exploratory journey. Clara learned something vital, and with this new information she could make a bold attack. She had sat up for hours the night before, crafting her masterpiece, a fake coupon that could fool even the most unsuspecting of viewers. Besides, it was real in the sense that she would honor it for its intended value, therefore it was totally legitimate, I guess. So basically she just made some paper and gave it to the Lady Luna person. Throughout her life, Clara had acquired basic control over graphic design. Though it was not her passion, it was a useful tool to assist her in whatever her passion of the moment was. She proofread the fine print one last time, ensuring that everything was correct. Only valid Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday between the hours of 3 p.m. 10 p.m. She hoped that wasn't too specific, but she didn't want the mystery woman showing up when she wasn't working. That wouldn't do anyone any good. Nevertheless, Clara paced the sidewalk with more confidence than she had on her first sample shift. Sure, people were slightly more hesitant to accept a sample of black coffee, but she gave away more samples than she did the first day. Yeah, because you weren't paying attention. Finally, Clara could again spot Lady Luna's approach. She stiffened but managed to suppress that feeling in her chest once more. Would you like a sample of our finest coffee? Sugar and cream are available. I accept. No additions are necessary. Here, take a coupon too. Free cup of coffee. Be sure to read the fine print. Okay, thank you, bye. The woman accepted the coupon hesitantly before walking away without comment. How long was it again? Like 3 months or something? Before she actually came to the store? Clara went home that night, unable to put her mind to rest. Could it be possible that the universe was so perfect that she would use the coupon? Or was it more likely that she would just throw it in the first garbage can she saw? Clara hoped she would use the coupon. Maybe if she hoped hard enough, it would become true. Thankfully, in time, her doubts were shown to be without need. Presently, Clara thought back to their most recent encounter. Given Lady Luna's most frigid reaction to her coupon scheme, Clara was stunned at the incredible ground she had made on their first proper meeting. She couldn't stop staring at her phone, at Lady Luna's number. She whispered her name to herself in full. Lady Luna, the Grim Reaper. Her heart felt full in a way it never had before. She closed her eyes and began to think of what came next. Absently, Clara began to decorate the border of her diary page. This felt like a new chapter in her life. Oh, so it's going to be because you accepted like some creepy deal. Act 1. Casual touching. Though it passingly felt strange to Clara to write her goal so barely, she thought it was important to be honest with herself. She couldn't prepare if she couldn't even put it to words. Therefore, the game was afoot. To begin, it was important to evaluate what Lady Luna was expecting from her. 3 questions. She had been assigned to prepare 3 questions for her. Pairing this with her goal, it became apparent that she had to think about this strategically. Well, I'm sorry, what's that? Actually, let me write it down so I remember to learn how to pronounce it. Maybe it's just like strategically. Kelly. Whoa. She dutifully sat up, writing her thoughts for as long as she could. Eventually, during a lull, the warm hand of sleep managed to claim her. When the dancing rays of morning awoke her, the diary was still clasped in her hands. With the haste of someone who slept later than expected, she pulled herself together. Though she went about the duties she needed to, that day was spent largely navigating her body from a cloud. Make a latte, think about Luna. Help a customer pick a drink, think about Luna. When Luna passed the window that day, Clara accidentally poured coffee on her hand. Thankfully she wasn't hurt, but it was embarrassing enough to ground her for a while. At work, however, the time passed even slower. The evening crawled at a pace not unlike a snail. Thinking about animals was one of the ways Clara liked to pass the time. A well-placed nature documentary could satiate her for hours. Yeah, I know that. I like nature documentaries too. They are good for falling asleep. Or relaxing too sometimes. Clara sat awake until 2 a.m. that night, until the calming British voice of a documentarian lulled her to sleep. Yeah, too bad, I'm not able to mimic that guy. Would be kind of funny. The next day, Clara awoke with a start. A quickly sleeping, already mostly forgotten dream had left her heartbeat elevated for reasons she couldn't begin to recall. That uptick in her heart stayed with her the rest of the morning as she prepared herself for the day ahead. Today was the day she had been waiting for the last 2 days. But hey, that's still a lot of time to think when you think about it. Well, did actually think about the questions. She sat around the house, longing for a long. She sat around the house longing for as long as she possibly could before finally deciding that it was acceptable to begin walking to the agreed upon meeting point. To keep her company in a journey She brought a small, decorated notebook. It would be vital to her ability to manage the vast amount of notes that were surely incoming. Lady Luna had asked to meet her underneath the large clock that stood guard over the nearby park. Well, she had been told, meet me there, meet me where timekeeper stands, but she felt that was clear enough. The time they agreed upon had been 6 p.m. Clara looked up to find the hands of the clock pointing directly to 4 p.m. Well, there's no harm in being early. Thankfully, she had her notebook with her. She could sit in the grass of the park, do some nature sketches, and just wait for her reaper to arrive. I have been in the habit of going to the park to draw stuff. Like, it is pretty relaxing. On this rare occasion, Clara was gifted with the ability to be in nature before having to interact with her fascination. This alone would allow her to spend those 2.5, not that she was counting hours peacefully. Finally, she heard a chuckle from over her shoulder. I apologize for my tardiness. My journey was delayed by the sudden appearance of several wayward souls. Oh, of course. Clara jumped up. In the face of a surprising instance of fight or flight, allowed herself the indulgence of simply doing what she desired. She leaned her arm in for a hug. After a moment of trying to decipher what was occurring, Lady Luna's eyes went wide. She shot her hand up, keeping a distance from Clara. While your enthusiasm is appreciated, regretfully, I cannot accept your physical tokens of affection. Or like she at least like knows kind of what she's up to, apart from the creepy part. We have much to discuss. It's best that we begin, is it not? Damn, Clara hid her deep disappointment. Though if she was being honest, she had suspected this was a possibility. She had gotten a sense from Luna that she avoided contact with others. That's why she had prepared her questions. Right, of course. So Lady Luna. Oh, that's such a cool name. Hehehe. She giggled herself for a second, just feeling the sound of it in her mouth again. Lady Luna, you wanted me to think of some questions. I hope you have put much thought into them. Distilling concepts into their essence is vital. Well, like, I hope they aren't like all like some kind of creepy questions, like what color of underwear you have or something like that. I'm sure she wouldn't ever do that. Of course, Luna had no idea the amount of time Clara had spent thinking about the questions. It was her every waking thought from the moment they had last departed. Well, I think I have. Should I start asking them now? Yes, proceed. Alright, yes, proceeding right along. My first question: are multi-part questions allowed? And additionally, can this not count as one of the questions? I suppose. Excellent. Like he has basically like made like a flow card kind of a thing. Clara opened the notebook, retrieving a set of cards tucked away in the pages. We'll begin with my first real question. Here, take this card. You have this written down. Clara nodded proudly, happy to have her efforts recognized. If I may, have you always been a Grim Reaper? If the answer is no, how long ago did you become a Grim Reaper and what were you previously? Were you comfortable with casual contact prior to that point, or is it a personal preference separate from your Grim Reaper status? The way Clara spoke was clearly incredibly rehearsed. It was also quick, as if saying everything faster made it seem like less of a question. More like it is. Like that question alone is like all the questions and some more. Luna visibly recoiled at this excess of information, as if she had not anticipated that this was the meaning hidden behind the term multi-part question. This is many parts indeed. I will do my best to honor my earlier decision for now. I have not always been a Reaper. Once upon a barely remembered time, I was a human, as little more than a mere child. There was a disaster that forever changed the very nature of my existence. The end of the world is said to be such a grand spectacle. I can barely contain my amusement as mortals muse on such things. The apocalypse can happen in an afternoon for those not so blessed. Regardless, we move on in the ways that we can, I suppose. I do not live, and yet I must exist. This is the destiny I am tethered to. The unravel and ambiguity appearance of my body accurately depicts the age of my psyche. However, this is a little more than a mere projection. Someday I will forget the age, and that will be that. Maintaining this facade is a challenge. Make no mistake, my appearance and previous humanity does not make me one now. Do not dwell on what could be if I was still alive. There is no purpose to be found in such an exercise. Clara, of course, was taking notes. This was all vital information, the tone, and definitely the phrasing. So like, basically she used to be human, and then like something happened and she became a Grim Reaper, and like she's not exactly alive, and like she can somehow like pick the kind of like appearance she wants, I guess, something like that. Something like that. Lady Luna did technically refuse to answer some of her questions, but she supposed that in itself was a hint. Alright, is that the end of your answer, and should I proceed? Yes. Ooh, next question. Let's see. What sort of powers do you have? How do these define being a Grim Reaper to you? And how strong are they? If you have powers based on touching others, which I assume you do, does a barrier of some kind of material prevent them from taking effect? Well, I see where that is going, I guess. And in addition, in my persistent questions about this subject are unsavory, I will desist and offer my apology. This second admission of some kind of guilt seemed to amuse Luna. She tilted her head upward, looking down at Clara. I understand that humans have a tendency to get caught on certain social habits. You need not apologize for your natural urges. Well, urges for sure. I did not say that. Please note that I did not say that word. However, it is a dangerous thing. Reapers are not intended to interfere in the lives of humans. This much is clear. You need not know the details, but I do not believe a fine suit of cloth or rubber could spare anyone the curse that comes with me. Simply for my own clarity, have you tried? Does one douse the body in oil, then dance around an open flame? The fates are fickle enough. There is no reason to tempt them. I guess he doesn't really know how bad it is exactly. Clara that is also a difficult word, let me write it down. Imperceptibly, or maybe Clara imperceptibly rose an eyebrow at this assertion. No reason to tempt fate. Perhaps he could find one yet. As for what you described as powers, no, there is another factor. To answer this question, one must start at the beginning. What is the purpose of a Grim Reaper? This is an answer I will give you for free. When mortals end their earthly journey, their body returns to the earth. There is another component, however, the soul. This ephemeral evidence of their existence remains on this plane without intervention. Do you know the name that humans have given this phenomena? ... Oh, that's not rhetorical. Are you describing a ghost? Yes, these orphaned souls have no choice. Without shepherd, they have little choice but to haunt the in-between. As a Grim Reaper, I sense these essences where others cannot. Whilst these souls wander our plane, their pain is my own. That is why I must help them cross over. So she doesn't specifically kill people, I guess. Maybe you can think she kills the souls. Were I to neglect my duties, I would surely be driven mad. The dead stack up quickly, and rarely do they suffer in silence. Clara nodded, trying her best to comprehend what she was being told. It was still a little vague, but she supposed she understood as much as could be expected. Basically like she can hear the ghost crying kind of a thing. And if she doesn't deal with them, then it's going to be really noisy, basically. Is that your complete answer to question number 2? Yes, I presume you have another. Yup, let's see. With her initial questions about physical conduct satisfied for the moment, Clara could safely move on to further relevant questions. What is your day-to-day life like? You are provided with things like shelter and money. Are you provided with things like shelter and money, or do you have to get those things yourself? How much free time do you have to pursue your own interests? Death's gatekeepers are not rewarded handsomely, unfortunately. I am paid only in the comfort of a quiet night. My existence is guaranteed, however my comfort is not. I do not require sustenance, and yet I hunger. The cruelty of the gods knows no end. I cannot die, and yet I freeze. I can derive no joy, and yet I suffer. Thus, I am forced to bow before the god of commerce and exchange my time for human currency. Okay, so basically like she's having side jobs or something, I guess. And she needs to buy food and pay rent. Between this endeavor and my other obligations, it is rare to have a moment of silent contemplation. Clara continued writing, deep in thought. This was an interesting answer, even if they weren't necessary for survival. Luna did have needs. That was something to bear in mind. Basically, she's probably thinking okay, she can be horny, so that's good. Perhaps someday Clara could suggest that Luna moves in. That would surely carve out a chunk of free time for her. Yeah, I guess. But she was getting ahead of herself, she supposed. The years felt hot. Nevertheless, so does that conclude your answer to the third question? Does that conclude your questions? I mean, not really. I could spend the whole day asking you questions. What's your favorite color? I said 3 questions. But it's red. Well, I guess makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. Scribble, scribble. Did I ask the right questions? It seemed like you were really serious about this. You put much thought into them. That is admirable for a human, though. It looked like Luna wanted to speak for a second, but shook her head. I thought you may, ask about your role in all of this. Oh, her role? Right. When we first met, I told you that you were to be a key part of my fate. Alright, of course. I just expected you to, never mind, disregard that thought. Sometimes we cannot truly know what to ask until it is too late. I will provide you with a teaser. You have listened to me speak of the nature of my affliction, of the life of a grim reaper. To be selfish for a moment, this is an existence I do not desire. I have been told by many there is no way to willfully end my reign, that I am to do this until the cosmos decides I am to retire. But that strange entity and its prophecy about the woman with the moon-shaped scar, well, I suppose you should have asked about her then, huh? Wait, no, I want to know. Luna simply laughed. This is the folly of humanity. Be patient, child of man. In time, perhaps I will tell you. Luna paused, looking up at the sun. Unfortunately, my pocket of freedom is ending for today, but we shall meet again, Clara. Oh, of course. This had been a much shorter encounter than Clara had wanted for, but it seemed to be full of ill omens. But there was hope, a prophecy even. I thank you for accepting these things. You are wiser than most, who would so quickly disregard what I say as the ravings of a lunatic. And I thank you again for your cooperation in these matters. Even if I do not tell you everything immediately, your good faith and loyalty will be rewarded in time. Clara nodded, though for some reason this almost seemed like she was being chided for her impatience. Well, can I see you again? Luna smiled, starting to walk away. Soon. I will contact you when it is time. Stay well, fair Clara. Clara watched her walk away, the gears in her brain working overtime. She supposed that it was for the best if she tried to remain patient. Luna said in time, so she simply had to believe her. Clara took a deep breath and made her way home. She had much to discuss with her diary. How is this like exactly going to work though, like are they kind of like, I don't know, like the Grim Reaper doesn't want to be a Grim Reaper, but because he just like vanished, this is not anymore, something like that. Oh, hopefully it will work somehow. Thankfully, Lady Luna had in fact kept to her word. She and Clara had a wonderful meeting several days later, in which Luna lectured Clara regarding different types of spirits. Clara was only slightly surprised at the subject matter, but didn't really mind. Luna explained that this was vital context for Clara to have. Over the following weeks, this manner of meeting became quite common. Clara was thrilled to find that Luna loved to speak on such things for long periods of time. She hung on her every word. Despite this, there was a concern that Clara couldn't quite shake. She loved these stories of Luna's life as a Grim Reaper, and yet it felt as though something was missing, as if there was a hole through the middle of their interactions. But what could it be? Clara was resolved to find that core and solve this problem. She found herself often thinking about these things while at work, while staring out the window, and as always, waiting for Luna to walk by. Though it was silly, Clara found comfort in seeing Lady Luna every day, even if only for just a moment, out the window. For Clara, there was something special about watching Luna from a distance. Observe something is to change it. Sometimes the prospect of speaking to Luna felt like trampling through fresh snow in an idyllic field. Entering her world would fundamentally alter it. While alone, Lady Luna had no need to perform for anyone, not even herself. From a distance, it was easier to see a vulnerable side to the normally quite guarded Luna. Watching her was like watching any other beautiful thing in nature. On her first day of the week, Clara laid in bed. It had been a while since Luna had been able to meet, and she was starting to grow restless. Not that she was offended that Luna was busy, she knew that was part of the job, but it still left her a touch lonely, she supposed. Today she would even get her daily shot of Luna, and today she wouldn't even get her daily shot of Luna through a window either. Clara thought about the day before her. What was there to even do? Laze at home? She could go sit in the cafe to catch that perfect glance, but going to work on her day off seemed lame. But maybe, just maybe, she could do something unusual. She could sit near the cafe. Yes, the more she thought about it, the more she liked the idea. In fact, it was like a whole new vantage point on the whole thing. Yeah, stalking, I guess. As she went to get dressed, she paused when looking at her normal wardrobe. Maybe today she'd dress differently, keep a low profile. Not that she needed to, nothing wrong with sitting and people watching. Clara grabbed a hoodie and a hat from a coat hook as she walked out the front door. It was chilly anyways, and the wind would certainly ruin her hair if left unprotected. If her timing was right, then she should have a casual 15-minute walk to the cafe, where she could cross paths with Luna, or at least she hoped so. The walk was pleasant, filled with sunlight and the pleasant chirping of birds. When she arrived, she sat at a bench opposite of the neighboring businesses. She could just make out the smell of coffee from her work. Her eyes couldn't help but fall down to her hands as she waited. It was hard to say why, but she could hear her heart beat loudly. This nervous flutter lurked at the edge of her consciousness, inflating as Luna came into her peripheral vision. Lady Luna walked past Clara without even a second glance. Clara didn't even realize she had been holding her breath until she found herself urgently inhaling. Her eyes followed Luna, walking into the distance. As she did so, a thought occurred, the same thought that had occurred to her every day she had ever seen Luna. Silently she stood. If asked why she was following Luna, she had no idea what she would say. Therefore, she had to be doubly careful not to get caught doing so. Yep, she is the stalker, I guess. Clara kept her head low, never letting her eyes falter from the back of Luna's head. Luna walked briskly, never pausing for very long. After navigating a few city blocks, Luna stopped before entering a building. Clara immediately dropped down, situating herself behind a particularly useful bush. This allowed her a clear vantage point without the concern of being seen. Tanaka Mortuary, a funeral home. Clara supposed that made a certain kind of sense. Well, I guess. But now she was faced with a choice. She couldn't follow Luna into the building. That would be precarious. But she also didn't know how long she may be in. Could it be that this was her workplace? Lady Luna had referenced that she was at the mercy of the force known as capitalism, which meant that she had to make money. She said she was a Grim Reaper. Clara couldn't venture a guess to how accurate that was, but she could see a clear line of thought here. For now, she took a small book out of her bag and began to read. Again, this small piece of urban nature sustained her in these trying times. It was an hour later when Lady Luna was spotted exiting the mortuary. Perhaps Clara thought she would do some research. You never know where you could find a missing piece after all. Luna was only there for an hour, but this could still be a place of employment for her. And if that was the case, maybe she could learn something about Luna here. After allowing adequate time for Luna to clear, Clara walked into the front doors. Inside was what appeared to be a pretty standard mortuary. In particular, the front door led to a lobby. Oh, it's a new person. I like the mouth. Behind the front desk was a young woman with a serious face. Are you here for the Sakamoto funeral? Clara's eyes went wide. She realized she actually hadn't planned this far. She had been purely operating on instinct. Yes. Why did she say that? Every ounce of Clara knew that was clearly not correct. The receptionist seemed to agree, though without comment. If you say so, right this way. As Clara nodded to agree, she happened to notice the receptionist's name tag, Sen. Clara nodded, walking up to follow her. Well, this is a lot bigger on the inside. Excuse me. Oh, just this building. So, were you close with the deceased? Not really. I'm just a friend of the granddaughters. Clara almost bumped into Senna as he stopped right ahead of her. She looked Clara in the eyes as if asking, "Are you really doing this?" Is that so? Clara knew that technically the best time to stop this whole thing was the minute before she walked in. Failing that, she knew that the second best time was right now. Yeah, I don't know, really, I just offered to go, in her place, studying abroad right now, actually. Really like, like the kind of, lies that are likely to, go wrong. Like too much detail, probably. Like I would imagine, like you want to be like really vague, like something like, well, I wasn't really a friend, I just knew them, or something like that. Don't think my advice on this, like I don't really know for sure. And we also like don't go like stalking people like that, and that you can take as advice, I guess. But stopping this would require a certain skill of breaking that Clara did not possess. The fortitude required to admit her mistake was too much. Sen looked at Clara incredulously. That makes total sense. Anyways, well, we have been walking for quite a while. I didn't realize the visitation room would be this far back. Oh, it's a precaution we have. Well, against what? Sen stopped in front of a door, giving Clara a smile. Don't worry about it. It's just sometimes people like to come into crash funerals. Really rude people. They get a kick out of it. That's really disrespectful of them. Yeah, I think so too. Anyways, Sen opened the door. You're looking for door number 44 on the left. Okay, well, thank you. Clara, propelled by some force, kept walking as instructed. Though she knew she probably shouldn't, there was a force in her brain that told her to just do as she was told. That's always worked previously, right? Obviously, she didn't actually want to crash a funeral. She'd open the door, do her best to not stand out at all, then slip out after long enough had passed for Sen to walk away. But for now, she approached door number 44 and with nearly a thought between those 2 ears of her, opened it. And if you can make it to the other side of the hell room, maybe I'll let you leave. What are you talking about? Before she knew what was happening, she felt a shove from behind her. The room she was posted into was dark, and the door closed behind her with a resounding click. The darkness of the room was inescapable. Clara banged on the door. "Hello, help!" But something told her help would not come. Behind her, a bright red light flickered on, revealing the room in greater detail. Looking around, Clara tried to piece together a mental map of the room. It appeared that the only exits were the door she just came out of and a long, narrow corridor. She stood for a moment, contemplating her choices, before she felt something small and furry scurry past her feet. But that is like a rat or something. Though it was difficult, she held in the yelp and tried to come out of her throat. Perhaps it was best to stay moving. Well, like this suddenly took like a creepy turn, and then like a different kind of creepy turn, I guess. But it's good vibes, so I'll have a drink here. She approached the corridor, squinting to try to get a better look. The floorboards were narrow, with large gaps between them. As she went to take a step, it felt as if she had stepped into a particularly dilapidated wooden bridge. The kind people are always falling through in stories. Passing over it was difficult. Clara felt unsure on if she was supposed to run forward or move carefully. She opted more towards the latter. A sudden blur of movement caused Clara a moment of utter terror when she realized that the skeleton had leaped out at her. Okay, well, it's a fantasy RPG now. This time, she was unable to contain her yelp of fear. Though looking at it more closely revealed it was, in fact, made of plastic. It would surely be a violation of some code for the skeleton to be made of bone, right? Without any further delay, Clara made her way past the bridge, assuming that the rickety section she had crossed was truly a bridge. As unlikely as that seemed to her logical brain, like this is kind of like the amusement park, like ghost house kind of a thingy. Probably. Or like that. Well, they are playing a prank on her with a similar kind of thing. Probably. Looking up, she was delighted to discover an illuminated exit sign above a door. However, as she walked closer, she discovered the door was blocked. The red light caught on the metal table before her, letting her see just enough. A long metal table topped with a long black bag. The word body bag occurred to Clara at that moment for some reason. She took a step toward the table. There didn't really seem to be any other way out of this. She had to move the table. She placed her hand on one edge, then, to her horror, the worst possible thing happened. The bag began to move. No, it's fine, like surely it's nothing actually creepy. Without realizing how much force she was putting in, Clara flung the table halfway across the room. She scrambled for the door, grabbing the knob and praying that it would open. It would wiggle, but it wouldn't open. From the other side of the door, a voice. Sin. Are you sorry for your evil deed? Yes, I promise. The door opened, and Clara ran out of it. She fell on the floor outside, panting. Sin kneeled next to her. Now admit to me what you were trying to do. Clara found herself briefly stumped. What she had been trying to do exactly, ostensibly, learn more about Lady Luna. And yet, that isn't what happened when she walked in. She had been asked if she was attending a funeral, and she gave a response. I was trying to sneak into the funeral. I just wanted to see one so bad, but... Wait a second. Was he still talking? What was even the point of going on to say a lie? I don't know, I'm sorry. Do you know how I knew? Well, like there is no person of that name to begin with. ... You were trying to crash the funeral of an 11-year-old. Well, that's what I thought. Thought like too detailed. Oh. The two girls sat in silence for a moment. Then I'm turbo sorry. Sen cocked an eyebrow at this apology. Clara could almost feel a vile rise within her. She knew that wasn't the right thing to say. She could feel her ears get red. No, I don't, I'm sorry. I don't normally do this, I just... Her eyes stung a little. Sense signed. It's fine. Just don't do it again. Besides, I'm pretty sure you learned your lesson, right? Clara had barely had time to think about the experience she just went through. What with all the guilt she suddenly realized she should feel. Right? The darkness and the horror. Did you make that? Like that room? Yes, it's a project of mine. I know this may sound strange, but that was so cool. Question mark. Oh my god, going over those planks and then the skeleton just leaped out. Thank you, I'm still working on it. Honestly, do you have any other thoughts about it? Oh well, the thing in the first part between my feet, What was it? It was remote controlled, right? Oh, remote controlled. So you did that? That's right. There's cameras, so I can watch people go through and time everything correctly. I never would have thought of something like that in a million years. Everything's so masterful. It's really not. It's just something I do to keep myself busy, I guess. Well, like these people like getting bored at work, I guess. Like one like getting obsessed with some random passerby and the other like building ghost houses. And they just let you do that here. My parents own the place and I spent a lot of time here, so yeah. That must be really fun. I mean, it's a mortuary, so usually it's not. But I do like that I can work on something fun at least. Oh geez, I really should be getting back to the front. Of course. The two girls accompanied each other back to the front entrance. When they returned, Clara anxiously put her hand to the back of her head. I really am sorry for trying to sneak in. It's a little silly, but there's someone that I like and I convinced myself that investigating this place would help me somehow. Love is a minefield. I understand it. Well, like, stalking is a minefield at least. But really, I promise I'll never do anything like that again. Good. But if you ever want to come by to talk about haunted house stuff, you can. Oh yeah, it's called haunted house and not ghost house. Like ghost house is the thing you would have in like Super Mario World. Then again, it's kind of like the same idea. Except that, well, it's not real ghosts. Though, well, it's also not really haunted, so I guess it's kind of the same thing. Close enough. I have not many people who are interested. It's nice to talk to a connoisseur once in a while. Yeah, of course. Well, it was nice meeting you. Before Sen could respond, the front door opened. I have returned. I forgot my Clara. Clara's eyes went wide in panic. Oh, Lady Luna, what a surprise! Sen's face twisted in confusion. She looked from Clara to Luna. So you too? This is your Clara? Perhaps I was speaking out of turn. Clara belongs to no one except herself. Sen approached Clara, removing her hat and lifting her bangs to confirm her suspicions. My dearest friend and my newest alliance, it was only a matter of time before the two should meet. Though she couldn't exactly identify why, Clara felt her heart entering her throat. If I may inquire, my fair Clara, what has brought you here? This is a rather unusual place for you, is it not? I was trying to sneak in the funeral. Yup, you caught me. I see. This is admittedly a somewhat troubling fact, but I'm sure you have your reasons. Yeah, can we talk about it later, if that's okay? Of course. I apologize if my protege was the source of any trouble, I'm sure she had noble intent. Very noble indeed. Like stalk kind of noble intent. Well, I showed her to the hell room regardless. It was super fun, but I really have to get going. I'll speak to you soon. Await the chance. Meet you, bye. Clara left the funeral room as casually as she could, then ran home. Though no harm was done in the end, it still felt like a disaster had occurred today. How could she allow something like that to happen? Next time, she would have to think of a better plan beforehand. That was too risky, too stupid. The next morning, a brief text exchange was between Clara and Lady Luna. All like the games have been having this like thingy lately. Actually, the visual novel I'm making also has this kind of a thingy, like the phone thing. Clara, I believe that tomorrow may be a fine time for us to once again meet, perhaps in the afternoon before your caffeine-related obligations. Normally I would love to, but I have a doctor's appointment. Except maybe by the day after. I see. That is most regrettable. However, I understand that mortals must mind their physical husks. In that case, I will simply focus on my duties for the day. Were this doctor's appointment to end swiftly, perhaps we could reconvince. Reconvince. Yeah, like she capitalizes like every word because I don't know. That is like Grim Reaper habits, I guess. So I'll let you know. Well, like I hope it's not going to be more stalking, or well, if it is, so be it. Let me drink again. I kind of wish that there were like a way to tell like how far you're into the story, but it doesn't really matter. Like as long as my vocal cords can handle it, I'll try to stream this until the end. Though it might actually be rough, so who knows, maybe I'll have to split this into 2 parts. But I'll try to figure out. I'll play a little more at least. For a moment, let's allow our camera to treat of following different target, Lady Luna. As she had told Clara, Luna was wandering the streets of the city. A Grim Reaper's job is never complete, it would seem. Though Luna was perhaps hesitant to admit it, being told that Clara was busy today was more of a disappointment than she would have liked. Luna fondly thought of her charming new assistant. Though she had spent eons hoping to find the answer to her prayers, Luna had never imagined she'd be so, well, if she was being honest, Luna had never really imagined that she'd be so real. This was perhaps Clara's most enhancing trait. Not that she was unpleasant, of course. At times, when Luna was feeling particularly foolish and fanciful, she allowed herself to imagine a reality in which this meeting would occur. Even in these fantasies, Luna could have never conceived of a world like this. Someone that was not just willing, but somehow more excited than she was. But she couldn't allow herself to get lost in thoughts. As she shook herself out of her self-induced stupor, she spotted something strange at the edge of her vision. Clara, perhaps she was on her way to her appointment, or better yet, perhaps she was already done. Like, is this like the same person really? Admittedly, she was fashioned a little differently than she normally viewed Clara. The facial jewelry in particular struck her as odd. Yet, who was he to judge a bold choice? Lady Luna rushed over, though did her best to ensure it did not seem that way, pausing dramatically. Are you done with your examination? Perhaps you would care to join me? Clara jumped, then turned to look at her. From this angle, Lady Luna began to suspect something was wrong. Oh, no doubt. The look in Clara's eyes was that of disgust. What? Yonder Clara is in the quotation marks. Luna could almost recoil. My lady, I just thought if your appointment has been seen through to completion, my appointment, it is worse than I had imagined. I assumed it was standard human fare. I was unaware amnesia was even a possibility. Just to check, do I know you? My fair Clara, how heartbreaking this is. So soon after we first meet, and already an obstacle. Clara's face was scrunched in confusion before finally relaxing a bit. Clara? Is that my name? Yes, you are Clara. Does this name sound correct in your soul? By goodness gracious, yes. I do suppose that sounds like me, doesn't it? Now, if you could even ever possibly forgive my rudeness in asking, could I beg of you to tell me your name? Hello there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like this is a different person though. Like you don't just like suddenly get like the nose ring thingy. Ah, I see. If you forgot your own name, I suppose that follows. You may call me Lady Luna. Does this name rouse anything in you? No, I really don't think that it does. Very well. Tell me, Clara, what do you remember? Well, let's see what I remember. Oh, I remember that I went to see a doctor man today. There was something real bad in my head, so he took it out. I think he called it a brain. I see. We shall return to this subject later. Perhaps when you have had a chance to return to yourself. This foul doctor shall not walk away from the damage he has done freely. Thank you, kind stranger. Call me Lady Luna, as I told you. In any case, I'll begin with our relationship. Oh, a relationship, you say? Yes, you see, you have a scar. I suppose. Moon, the one on your forehead. Of course. Like where is this going exactly? It is simply too much information to disclose to you in your afflicted state, but suffice to say, this marks your importance to me. But now is not the time for that. There are more important matters at stake. Do you recall where you live? Maybe. Let's walk around for a while and we'll see. The average onlooker may be excused for overlooking the complexities of this interaction. You see, not all was as it seemed. Well, no kidding. This woman, believe it or not, is not actually Clara. Well, who would have guessed? You may be excused for thinking they look similar, as this woman is Clara's twin sister, otherwise known as Nell. Okay, well. Nell has lived with Clara this whole time, yet despite this, she has been left thoroughly in the dark regarding her sister's recent interests. Okay. Though she was initially put off by the weird rando trying to hit on her, it quickly dawned on her that this was a prime opportunity to learn some more about what her sister has been up to. Well, I guess it is an opportunity, but maybe not the best way to do it. You may notice a theme. These sisters are notorious noobs. Well, yeah, they sure are. So for now, Nell began to walk. She'd prod around for info for a while, then she'd take a nice leisurely walk home. So Luna, right? How long have I known you? I do apologize, but I request that you call me by my full title of address, Lady Luna. But regardless, let's see. I believe it has been nearly a full month since I first entered that realm of beams and warmth that employs you. Realm of beams and warmth. Yes, as you may call it, a cafe. Yeah, that is definitely what I would call it instead of whatever stupid thing you just said. Luna paused. A strange look daring to cross her face for a second. Meh. Nell, sensing that perhaps she was not doing a very good job imitating Clara's side. Gee, I don't know what just came over me. I'm so sorry. I think it's just my silly little lack of a brain. Hehe. I suppose I understand. It's just I have dated some treated rotten people before. I want to make better choices moving forward, so I'm a little critical. Well, like she's totally thinking like her sister and her are like dating, I guess. Though there were other important concepts contained in this sentence, Luna found herself caught on the word date. We stood there for a second as if having to pass through several layers of abstraction in order to determine if that was an acceptable use of the word. Ultimately, however, she determined that it was an accurate enough description. Besides, if Clara was regaining some of her thoughts and memories, who was she to complain? I see. Our situation is a complicated one, unfortunately. You have promised me a great favor I will never be able to fully pay back. My best is all that I can offer you. I apologize if you do not think it is fit. It's so easy to just say that though. I am aware that words are the easiest things to give someone. Nell seemed struck by this admission. At least she felt as though there was a sense of defeat to Luna. She didn't feel great about kicking someone while they were down. Okay, I have an idea. Speed dating. Quick, take me somewhere cool, maybe a food place. I'm sort of starving over here. Oh, that's taking advantage of her wallet. Somewhere cool. This is not a task I am often assigned. So think of this as practice then. Luna looked away for a moment, contemplating. I make no guarantees of quality. However, there is an establishment I occasionally visit nearby. Perhaps you would like it. Hell yeah. Nothing allowed more than an establishment without any other details or junk like that. Luna nodded, then turned and began walking. Journey was short enough, and they approached. Nell's face crunched up. A hot doggery. I am aware it is not fine dining. However, if you hunger, then they provide sustenance. Nell approached the open business, able to spot the menu through the window. Alright, first of all, I'm a vegetarian, so you'll probably want to keep that in mind, in the future. Second, I guess this place is fine, but if I'm eating a carrot dog, you have to too. That seems only equitable, I suppose. Well, like I'm pretty sure like your average hot dog place, it is probably just like meat choices, but in reality like there are really good vegan sausages, so not like you couldn't make a good vegan hot dog. But I'm pretty sure that your average hot dog place doesn't have any clue what they are doing apart from some stock sausages. I shall pay, of course. Perhaps you can lay claim to a table. Captain. The pair split, each of their respective tasks. I hope you like carrots. They are acceptable. Well, they are fine. A silence fell upon the table as the two girls contemplated their current situation in life. So, you said we had known each other for like a month. I guess that makes sense. Have we possibly been meeting up for long periods of time at random hours of the day? Does that sound right? Yes, that's correct. Perhaps your memory is coming back to you. What is basically just like asking if Clara has been with her or somebody else. And during this last month, what sort of hijinks have we gotten up to? Well, there is always much to discuss. Over time. I have been revealing to you the details of my role in life, how you relate to me. So, if our relationship was like baseball game, what base would you say we were on? You are aware of baseball, I assume? I beg your pardon. Listen, I just think it's important to know how serious this whole thing is. I trust that you will find that how serious I am has little to do with matters of the flesh. If that is what you are implying. My thoughts brings little other than regret. You should steer clear of it for your own safety. Luna could not shake the feeling that this Clara, with her memories jumbled as they were, seemed quite different. Something about the venom that laced her smile, it did not match the smile in her memory. I'm sure she loves that. Nell couldn't help but mutter under her breath. What did you just say? Sorry, my head just keeps spinning. I think I'm a little confused. Oh, carrot dogs are up. Nell hopped up, quickly retrieving the 2 hot dogs. I just think it's funny that every hot dog joint between here and the effing moon thinks that vegetarians want carrot dogs. Ah yes, a problem that we all have faced. The carrot dog was a carrot that had been brushed with sauce and grilled on a bun. It all worked together was too starchy. It lacked a certain textural requirements. But it is an interesting idea though, like maybe I should give this a try, like if you like season the carrot like in an interesting way, maybe it works. Like you can, for example, like slice the carrot in like really thin slices and then put it in salt, and like it becomes kind of like salmon. So maybe there's some way to season it so that it works. But then again, eat it just by the vegan sausages, so well, maybe not worth it. Luna found herself in an awkward position. For once, she decided to just eat the hot dog and keep quiet. Despite her complaints, somehow Nella still managed to basically inhale her carrot dog within several quick minutes. Alright, I believe I'm prepared to rate this practice date. You will now escort me to my home, where I will deliver your final rating. Don't worry, I'm sure you can take that go, right? Luna eyed her hot carrot with contempt, but took it regardless. The two, for a while, walked peacefully. Nell considered what it was that Clara saw in Luna, something that clearly eluded herself. It wasn't like she wanted to sabotage their friend relationship. She just worried, was all. She felt like it was her job to do her due diligence about this strange suitor. Well, like usually sisters don't have like that kind of like obligations or anything, you know. Despite her eccentricities, there was something acceptable about Luna. She lacked a certain asshole quality that previous partners had had, at least from first impressions. Nell knew that this brief encounter was hardly enough time to fully know a person, but it was a start. What's your whole deal anyways? My deal? What a humongous thing to call it, given that I was quite ripped off. Do you truly wish to know, Clara? I do. I'm using this is. Normally I only have to tell people once, and that is all. Yet here we are, enjoying the same mystery twice. Some part of you must recognize the danger that lives within me. Perhaps this was fate giving you another chance to walk away. Regardless, I will tell you what I am without further fanfare. I am Lady Luna, Grim Reaper. The line was delivered with a certainty, as if she knew how it would go, so she was able to even further commit this time. Which perhaps was a miscalculation. You can't just say you're into LARPing. I don't mind if you break character, really. Luna wasn't sure what to say. This whole thing, admittedly, was plaguing her more and more by the minute. What if Clara never remembered? What if she was simply different now? She is different. She decided that it was simply best to say nothing. She didn't want to chide Clara, but could also not stomach more of this. Finally, the city blocks they were walking in turned from business to residential. Nell eyed Luna suspiciously. But you have been good to me, right? Question mark. To put it bluntly, if you're a thing with me for real, to put it bluntly, is your thing with me for real, or is it like pretend? Because I'm not so great with those two things sometimes. I know we have not known each other that long, a month or an hour, whatever, but I don't want you to jerk me around here. So tell it to me straight. Can I trust you? ... Her eyes turned serious. She stopped facing Nell. There are many things in this life that are beyond my control. I cannot stop the trajectory of the sun, nor can I prevent certain harms from crossing your path. In fact, despite my status as an immortal, I have very few luxuries I can gift you, but the you that you are when you are your full self. You swore you would help me. When I was far more of a stranger to you than I am now, this is not something I take lightly. I cannot summon from within myself this trust that you so desire. However, I promise you the best of myself that I have to give you. This is my goal, to keep you with me for as long as you would like. With a heavy sigh, Nala stopped in her path. Alright. Enough with that dramatic shit. You had known me for a month. You really need to calm down. But come with me. We are almost there. Nell's path began to cross into a parking lot. Come in with me for a minute, okay? You're home, I suppose? Approaching a large apartment complex, she gestured upwards. We are on the 3rd floor. The two girls climbed until finally they arrived at the door. Alright, so here's the deal. I just don't think the two of us are going to get along very well. There's something of an insurmountable personality gap there. Luna didn't know what to say. You're loud, you're pompous, and a little delusional. But that's okay, because I don't need to like you. She went to open the door. Luna felt a sharp pain in her chest. Upon opening the door, a sweet smell streamed out from within. Baked goods. Nell stepped in, gesturing for Luna to follow her. Clara, I brought your weirdo. Hope she wasn't stalking you. Not that I'm too concerned about that possibility. Yeah, because it's the other way around. Clara's head poked out from the kitchen. Then her eyes went wide. Lady Luna, what are you doing here? What are you doing with her? Luna looked rapidly from so-called Clara to Clara, then to the occasional photo that decorated the front room of their shared apartment. Sisters. Clara was unsure of what to do. This was not what she had been expecting. Her doctor's appointment was over in a surprisingly timely fashion, hence why she wanted to do something special, and now she suddenly had a guest. Forgive our mess. I need a moment. As if on autopilot, Luna navigated herself to a couch and took a seat. Clara pulled her apron off and joined the two in the front room. For the first time in the last hour, Luna could breathe easily. You never mentioned you had a sister. I suppose not. There's just so many things to talk about. I'm just saying, but you could have avoided this if you had told her about me, you know? Yeah, you would have avoided this, like if you actually had a sister who just said like, I'm not Clara, basically. Wait, avoided what? We took a little walk together, that's all. Clara looked to Luna, still recovering. Perhaps it was some kind of weird walk, but definitely not just a normal one. Did you pretend to be me? Listen, she just assumed. What is this? 4th grade gym class? Does it matter? Besides, I thought you'd be thankful thanking me for bringing her in. She tells me you do get up to quite a bit, right, LL? Luna was not well suited to being the butt of a prank. Whilst she had been bullied, this felt different, somehow worse. Ha ha ha, fool. You thought I believed you were Clara. It was a diversion. I simply had an interest, one that has now been satisfied. Neither Nell nor Clara were fully convinced. Well, don't listen to anything she's told you, regardless. Of course, my lady, I know, do not concern yourself. What surprised Luna was how upset Clara seemed to be. In a way, it helped her. Nell chuckled in the background. Well, anyways, good to meet you, I guess. I'm Nell, by the way, and this has certainly been a firm reminder to finally get my hair dyed. Or you would think that the nose ring would also already be like enough. With that simple goodbye, Nell disappeared down the hall and into her room. Clara began to speak, taking a seat next to Luna, given that her third wheel departed. I'm really sorry about all that. She's normally fine, she just has a sense of humor, I have been told. Humor is a scourge. This is nothing new to me. It was only now that Luna's adrenaline had begun to fade. As such, for the first time since entering the apartment, Luna finally found herself at ease enough to observe her surroundings. The room was clean and smelled pleasantly, like brown sugar and brown butter. However, there was something of an oddness to it. Humans regularly have a television in their front room, but Luna had rarely observed anyone employing the use of 3 televisions in one place. Okay, that's a lot. Not to mention the plethora of wires spilling out, connecting various items that lived across the room from each other. Clara seemed to notice Luna's observations. Or like maybe it's something else. Nell really likes old things. Not like old, I guess, but old TVs and stuff. She's in the middle of rearranging, so the wires are a little everywhere right now. These electronic strings, they evoke Ariadne desperately trying to free Theseus from the labyrinth. Does there lurk a minotaur we must beware of in your hallowed halls? Well, probably not. Thankfully, I can confirm our apartment is free of minotaurs. Other than the one you have met, of course. Luna contemplated Ariadne and how her efforts in the end were simply spat on by the boorish Theseus. Perhaps behind every fraud was a brilliant Ariadne, doing her best to free her companion of whatever ails them most. Was there a universe in which Jesus appreciated her as much as she deserved? Or is there simply no way to repay a debt so great? A kind of shame that, like, I know the Minotaur thingy, but I don't know like anything beyond the labyrinth and the Minotaur. Like, I don't know the people of the story exactly. So well, I can kind of like get like what he's thinking of, but would be nice to like know the details. Oh wow. Luna focused her gaze to the tray of cookies Clara had sat down on the table before them. Wordlessly, she took one for herself. Clara had baked these, presumably with her in mind. She wondered how many of Clara's thoughts were about her. Then Luna considered Nell, cautioning her that Clara had somewhat of a history of heartbreak. Well, like if she's in the dating weirdos, then I guess, yeah, it can happen. She turned the cookie around in her hand, as if she was appraising some fine coin. Its surface was marred. Maybe. Let me actually write it down. Like, I'm kind of curious how to pronounce it. Well, marred with perfect imperfections, crisp edges, and dark pools of melted chocolate. Ooh. Though Luna was, of course, very serious about her alliance with Clara, a prophecy is a prophecy after all, she felt as though perhaps there was an element she had not given proper consideration. Oh. It has been long since I have had an item prepared with so much care. Your efforts do not go unappreciated. Oh, thank you, my lady. I'm glad you like them. I realized I don't know if you like sweets or not. I am beginning to acquire a fondness for them. This, of course, was metaphor, like most things. Luna did not know that Clara baked. This was not a metaphor. Clara, I suspect that there are many things which I do not know about you. Yep. Like I said, don't believe anything she told you about me. I'm not factoring in the chaotic fey mood of your sister. I simply have realized something. The bulk of our conversations circle a single subject. Oh, me. It is as if my very being is a black hole and all things are pulled towards it when the two of us are together. Ah, well, you are pretty fascinating, my lady, and we have not really had that much time together when you think about it. This is true. However, please understand that I do not mind listening to tales of your life. Human concerns can even bring me enjoyment at times. I suppose this is to say to me, you are fascinating as well, Clara. Clara seemed lost for words for a moment. Luna's words felt strange in her brain, like that gut feeling you get when someone just says a lie as fact. That's very flattering. I'm sorry if you feel like I'm holding back on you. There's just not so much there, I guess. You're like so important, and I like to think about you and all of the strange, complex things surrounding you. And I'm just not. I've got nothing going on, really. Sometimes I feel like a peanut. I'm a cute thing filled with certain sweetness that people love, but it's all a bit hollow, isn't it? Well, like is it hollow? Like if it's filled with candy? Well, like the pot pouch like being bonked for the candy, like that's not a great thing. Luna struggled to think of a response, something reassuring she could say to Clara. A normal person could say, well, I like peanuts, or even a peanut that could contain anything it so desired. Well, like the I like peanuts kind of a thing. Like, well, you can interpret in the wrong way too. Like basically, like I want a punching bag. However, words of comfort were not familiar to Luna. As she tried to form them in her mouth, it was likely already too late. I just never really feel like I have anything worth sharing, I guess. I kind of know that feeling. Though like, well, lately it has been better, but it's kind of like when like a lot of your life revolves around work basically, then it's like, well, I could talk about work, but do I really want to talk about work on the spare time or time off basically? And like, well, I guess like when you're basically making coffee, then it's even harder. Like I guess like streaming and indie game development can be like interesting at least, but if you're basically your work is making coffee, then it's like, or if you meet like some kind of like person who is really into different kind of coffees, then yeah. But then again, it's kind of the same with like games too. Well, Clara paused, noticing the concerned look in Luna's eyes. Sorry, I just said something weird, didn't I? She dismissed herself with a laugh. Sorry. Thinking about you just makes me happy, that's all. The thought of you brings me joy as well, Clara. Even if you would not describe yourself as exciting, please bear this in mind. Luna couldn't help but berate her tongue. Was this nothing else than a restatement of her original thoughts? And yet, it was the best she had. Clara at least did her best to take it to heart. She nodded, an attempt at a determined look on her face. I suppose I'll try. This interaction stuck with Luna throughout the rest of their time together. That resignation that Clara had, that she was not of interest. It was hard to imagine, but Luna did her best to evaluate if she was capable of being a person on whom Clara could depend, someone that helps her see herself more clearly. After several short hours, Luna looked out the window ominously. It is with regret that our time today must come to an end. The setting sun serves as my alarm, and I must be off. Clara glanced to the window, cursing the Earth's rotation. Well, thank you for coming by. Not that either of us had much choice in the matter. Yes, today has certainly contained several fascinating twists. Luna stood, preparing to make her way to the front door. We shall speak again soon, and... However, there was something else she had failed to properly consider: the wired labyrinth surrounding them. Luna's foot caught on a stray wire to fall villain. This resulted in an unsurprising outcome. She tripped mid-sentence. With surprise, she quickly grasped right herself without realizing it. In panic, her hand reached out and grabbed Clara's thigh as she stumbled backwards. But it was not enough. With a quiet thud, she hit the ground, bringing a small table fan down with her. Oh my goodness, are you alright? Clara stood, hesitating before resisting the urge to offer her a hand up. She knew Luna likely would not accept such an offer. Luna quickly righted herself, casting the fan off without a second thought. Lady Luna finally turned to face Clara, a strange look in her eyes. I am fine, but I must leave. And with little more than that, she bolted for the door and left. Clara couldn't help but feel like that was quite sudden, but she supposed Luna was a woman of many strange layers, and her doing the unexpected was actually quite expected when you think about it. Nevertheless, she wanted to soothe any lingering concerns. She retrieved her phone and determined that she would wait until it had been exactly half an hour since Luna left. She didn't want to be overbearing after all. Her eyes fell to the living room table that her and Luna had been sitting next to. Specifically, her attentions fell to an orphaned carrot dog she had seen Luna carrying earlier. Clara, not wanting to waste this vegetal second-hand kiss, ate it as she stared at her phone and waited. Finally, enough time had passed. It was nice seeing you today. You left a little quick. Is everything okay? Without overthinking, she simply hit the send button and let her words drift to Lady Luna's cell phone. In the meanwhile, she would clean up after herself in the kitchen. Surely that would be enough time for Luna to reassure her. After finishing her task, she wiped her hands on a handcloth I looked at her phone. No new messages. Well, like give it at least one day before getting anxious about it. Well, Luna liked to be mysterious. She tried her best to not let it occupy her every waking thought, while she distracted herself for the rest of the evening. Before going to bed, or at least trying, she checked her phone one final time, just in case. No new messages. Well, the story is moving at least, like it was a weird turn of events, but they became a little closer at least. I kind of wonder, like, it doesn't seem like it is too close to the end yet, so maybe I should just split this into two sessions. Might be the best. Not sure like how I'll make the time, but I'll try to figure out how with like already 3 streams. Maybe like if like one of the streams is shorter, then I can like continue this. I'll try to figure out, like, let me actually think a little bit. Like the next game might be short, so maybe I'll just like continue this after that on the same day. Sounds like a plan, I guess. But that would be Saturday, I guess. But I like this though. Like, it is a weird one in a good way. And like interesting weird plot twists for sure. But yeah, like, not that like my throat is hurting, but my eyes are kind of hurting because I didn't sleep too well. So I don't think it is like responsible to play this to the finish now. Like, I think the game was like 20k words or something, so that's quite a bit. So I guess see you on Saturday then. No, I think I said it, but yeah, it is an interesting one, and I really want to finish it. But I don't think I can do it today. So well, see you on Saturday, and let's finish this then. And also, like, I'll be playing a different game too on Saturday. But yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for the comments, and see you later. Bye bye.